Right, random job of the day. My daughter has a Mini, nice sort of older Mini, 2008 I think it is, and some lovely lady pulled out when she was driving along and managed to swipe the side of my daughter's car, thus ripping off the wheel arch trim, and it needs to go back on. So it's just a few clips, and the actually arch trim isn't too bad. Just got to get off this other broken clip down here. They're destructive clips on the Mini. They don't come out, they just break off. So I'm going to get that one and just snap it off so it goes away, and then we'll get some more clips in these holes. As you can see, they're quite hard to get out, and they make a bit of a mess when they do come out. They damage the paint. One of Mini's special design flaws. But there you go. So we'll do that, and we'll just see if we can pop that back on. I bought some new clips on a well-known auction website, and we should be ready to go. Just going to put a little bit of rust stabilizer on anything that's looking a bit dodgy. It's not like desperate, is it? But it's an old car, but just better to just inhibit the rust rather than allow it to continue to get worse. It's not a bad thing. Right. Alright, so that's the clip out of the end. It was a bit stiff and horrible to take out. Take it out now. It's down here at the corner of the bottom. Right, as you can see, it's got this bit here which slots into here, so you just got to be careful as you line it up and make sure that it's pushed in nicely, or it'll just look out of place or sticking out on here when you put it back. Put a little bit of grease into these to help get them in, and it also provides a little bit of corrosion resistance. Not much, but a little bit. We're missing where it's been hit. We've lost this down the bottom, but I'm not going to be too fussed about that, because obviously we're just trying to get it back to cosmetically looking okay. I don't think it's a problem, because 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are there, so it's quite sturdy once it's put on. So these, they slide in and they latch on. And they slide in and they latch on. It's quite cool. And they have a little bit of movement, so there is a little bit of give, which is useful when you're trying to position something. And then the one down here, just going to probably do that one last. It's not too bad. Just got to squeeze in behind here. Just going to squeeze that clip back in, and then we're sorted. strap just goes in under here in the hole. And there you go, one slightly worse for wear Mini with a replaced wheel arch trim. One job down. Job number 2 on daughter's Mini. Check the coolant level, which is not too bad. It's hard to see in this light, but it is just below the minimum. Now, the reason we're checking it is because the thermostat was leaking and it was all down here, which you can't really see, but on top of the clutch gearbox housing, there was a big puddle of pink stuff, and the thermostat housing, which is nested in here, was all cracked. So not so long ago I replaced that, and also the tube. There's on the Mini there's a plastic tube that runs along the back, which is a water tube, and I replaced that. Previously it had major heart surgery because it couldn't get an MOT because of the emissions, and we tried a lot of stuff. I did the valve stem seals, we had the catalytic converter replaced, we had one of the lambda sensors replaced on the exhaust, and we got right to the end of our tether. It failed the MOT about 4 times, and we couldn't work out what was wrong with it. Now, this is my inexperience, but usually when the head gasket has gone, there is a lot of warning signs, which the Mini didn't really display, other than it had sort of pushed a bit of coolant out through the thermostat, and what it turned out to be was that the head gasket had gone. So I'll share some pictures of that. Right, I'm going to compress the spring. And we use a magnet to pull out the valve collets. These hold the valve and spring in place. So once you've released the collets, take the valve spring out and put it to one side. Get the stem seal pliers, and we'll just put those on there and pull the old valve stem seal off. Then we get the new valve stem still. Just pop it back on, make sure it's seated, and we pop the spring back on, make sure it's lined up, pick up the collet with some grease, get it on top of the screwdriver, and you're going to compress this down and put the collet back on. That's one done. There we go. Just doubly make sure that they're seated in the correct position. And that's it. One valve stem oil seal replaced. Now repeat. I didn't film it because I wasn't really creating content at that point, and I should have done, because it was quite a major job. You had to take a lot of stuff off to get to the head, and took it all out, checked the head, made sure that it was not warped, which it wasn't, and then put the head back on with a new gasket, new bolts, you know, knew everything that needed doing. Timing chain had been done previously, and what I'm suspecting is that the car was allowed to overheat at some point and just damaged the head gasket. But the actual engine, I checked all the things like compression. That was another thing that was not a giveaway on the head gasket, but it was obviously just damaged enough for it to leak a bit of coolant, you know, a bit of gas into the coolant. And a very nice local garage, when we found the MOT one of the times, they put one of those things on here and checked it with the fluid, and the fluid changed colour, and so they were really helpful. They didn't charge us for that, so all kudos to them. But they obviously said it's going to cost a whole shed load of money to do, and at that point in time, this car's not worth much. It's an old car. It's done 120 odd thousand miles, so it's, you know, it's an old car. Minis are not known for their amazing engine resilience, but to be honest, the engine's fine no matter what people moan and say about them if you maintain it properly. So keep the oil topped up and check. One thing they do use is a lot of oil. So the valve stem oil seals are obviously one of the things we thought with the emissions. So even though, you know, we did extra stuff to it, it's kind of future-proofed it a little bit. And my daughter didn't want to buy a new car at this point because second-hand cars are expensive, and she's only a 20-year-old student, so she hasn't got bundles of money, and nor have I, to pay for her to have a new car. So there you go. So when the thermostat leaked, it leaked out lots of the coolant, and so we topped it up, and then I said a few weeks later we'll check it. But inevitably, when you've got a 20-year-old daughter who's driving around all over the place, it's probably more like a month or two after we've done it. But as you can see, the coolant hasn't gone, it just needs topping up. So I'm just going to do that, and then hopefully I'll check the oil as well. Hopefully everything will be good. It's only going to lead a little bit. It's not low. Just top it up. There you go. Just wanted to get it above the minimum line. There you go. So it's good for the summer. There you go.